And normally I haven't done any of these sci-fi reviews in a long time, but I love sci-fi. I've always have. But I'm going to cram three sci-fi shows. One of them has nothing to do with the sci-fi or the Syphilis channel. And yes, I'm using the old sci-fi logo because I am not using that new Syphilis fucking logo that Sci-Fi has decided to change itself to. And yes, I call it syphilis because that's what it is. That's what its spelling is. But anyways, two of the shows are on the Syphilis channel, and one of them isn't. The first show, Killjoy, Dark Matters, and of course ABC's Whispers. I believe it's on ABC, and it's produced by Spielberg. And it's not a really big review on these three shows. One of them I like, one of them I'm okay with, and the other one I'm partly confused and trying to figure out why it's so big other than the fact that Spielberg is producing it. Yeah, if you can't tell, it's Whispers I was talking about there. Well, first of all, about Whispers. It's an interesting show. And I looked it up on Wikipedia, and for all of you who don't know, even myself until I looked it up because I didn't know, I do remember a guy named Ray Bradbury who had a television show called The Ray Bradbury Show, but he wrote a book called The Illicit Man, I believe, or Illustrated Man. I'm sorry if I get the title wrong because I never read the fucking book. But I do know the basic synopsis of it, and apparently it's a guy with a bunch of fucking tattoos that was talking about his life. And due to the fact that it was set some in the future, and it was bizarre. But then again, I also remember where Bradbury made this, wrote this book, and back then, a lot of shit was bizarre back then. Case in point, look up the last show of The Prisoner. You'll understand what the fuck comes to mind. I personally don't have anything against this show. I mean, yeah, he's got a bunch of tattoos. He doesn't remember who he is. Sideline! Blindsided. Yeah. And I know there's an upcoming TV show. It's going to have the same premises. Less science fiction-y. Sideline. Or Blindside. And it doesn't look that great, the other show that's coming out. And instead of a man, it's a woman on that one. God, it's going to be crap. But she's figuring out cases with tattoos all over her body. While he's trying to find out why children are murdering their family members. I'm not joking. That's what's happening in Whispers. Apparently a bunch of kids are hearing a pretend friend who's basically telling these children to act like the children of the corn. Of course, this one is more realistic and not over the top as Children of the Corn were, where they were happy to murder their family members and their parents. These kids, they think it's a game. Which, when you look at it, anyone under the age of 9 or even 10 usually thinks that it's a game, especially if they're under the age of 6, though. Usually thinks it's a game. Of course, when a pretend voice tells you to throw your mommy off a fucking cliff and watch her as she bashes her head and almost dies from it, I don't think it's much of a game, especially when the blood is pouring out all over the fucking concrete. But what I find funny and wrong about this show, and I really do find this show kind of funny in a way, is the government's reaction to this. I mean, a bunch of kids are running around doing this fucking conspiracy shit because their parents are in these high-level jobs. And this is where it gets even more funnier. And then all of a sudden the nuclear plant goes nuclear and is about ready to explode because of these kids. And all of a sudden the nuclear energy is just sucked right out into this unknown force. Just sucked in and eaten and just dissipated. So the plant doesn't go nuclear because there's no nuclear energy because some force ate it up. That's not the funny part. The funny part is that the government sees this, and how do they react? Instead of like, oh my god, we're dealing with an unknown force, they're going around accusing people of being a part of fucking Al Qaeda. Jesus Christ, dude, seriously? Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, that's too funny. And then when the government finally gets it in their head that there's some mysterious force manipulating kids, the Secretary of Defense or whatever, whoever this new guy is, wants to declare war on everybody's children. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man, that is not going to work, dude. That is not going to fucking work. I'm not kidding. They're going into that ridiculous shit. Our federal government is not that fucking stupid. And yes, now it's found out it's an alien invisible force that is beguiling our little kids' friends and all that weird shit. At least, I have to say this, at least the woman who's cast as the child specialist in the show, an FBI agent who's a child specialist, she was cast pretty well. She looks like a mother. And that's what they need, for a FBI child specialist. Then we move on to Dark Matters. Dark Matters is good. I like it. A bunch of people lose their memories. It sometimes overgoes with the action. And it feels like, Stargate. Again, finding out it was from the creators. They originally came to Sci-Fi Channel with the premise. And Sci-Fi Channel, of course, was going to change their name to Syphilis. And then said, we're not going to go with this because we're going to become more with wrestling and all this other crap. Yeah, it was right before, it was right when Sci-Fi Channel was becoming more of a wrestling channel, and they were basically just throwing away all their sci-fi shows, one by one. And the show was turned down and thrown out. And what happened was the guys who created it, who used to work for Stargate, used their cred to turn it into a comic book with Dark Horse. And it worked. And now Sci-Fi said, all right, we'll turn it into a show. And now Dark Matters is finally made into a show. Of course, I did like it where they were trying to find out who their memory were and finding a mining colony. And then the mining colony says, oh, this group of mercenaries are going to come and kill us all. And then finding out they were the fucking mercenaries. Whoops. Of course, some of their later episodes weren't that great, but it's still a pretty good show. It's worth a watch, especially the first couple of episodes. Then you have Killjoy. Yeah, Killjoy. Killjoy is trying to replace that moon that was replaced from Warehouse 31 or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous and it's fun in its way, but it's not that great. I would say it was disappointing, but I saw the early previews of it, and yeah, I pretty much got what I thought the show was going to be when the show finally started. There's not really any kind of interesting storyline except for that one girl who was apparently raised to becoming an assassin, and the one brother who lost some memories and is now suffering from PTS, or post-traumatic syndrome. He literally is, and he has no memories to why he's suffering from it. But I think that show is only really put together just to watch people shoot each other and action, action, action. Storyline? Anybody have a storyline? Then we'll slap something together. More action. Throw out the guns. Come on. Bombs exploding. Boom, boom, boom. Michael Bay. I mean, it's great over-the-top action, but I don't get the meaning behind it at all on Killjoys. I don't even get the title. But as for Whispers, if you want to see our government hilariously act really goddamn horrible when aliens are making our little children basically become children of the corn, or when bizarre shit happens, just blame it on Al Qaeda. Literally, I'm not joking, that actually happened in that show. Before they got some sense and realized, oh yeah, it's an invisible force. Yeah, they actually blamed it on Al Qaeda and terrorists. Yeah, that made sense. It's like, if a fucking UFO came down, destroyed a whole bunch of buildings, and just, fucked off and left the planet, and everybody says, oh, okay, it was Al Qaeda. What? Dark Matters is interesting. Their last episode wasn't that great, but it's an interesting show. And Killjoys, well, it's just got that title. Killjoys. That's all it's got. I hope Dark Matters at least goes on for a second season. I can care less what happens to Killjoys. And Whispers, if it stays on for a second season, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. The government can't get its fucking hit together, apparently. See ya.